Jailbreak has over 100 cars in the game, reaching from driving snow shovels to Halloween themed cars, which I don't even know how to name them, to nice looking supercars based on stuff like the Bugatti Veyron and the Koenigsegg Jesko. With how many cars there are, it can be very confusing picking the right one for you, especially for beginners, but even intermediate people can experience a lot of trouble picking what car really suits them. Now this has prompted me to make a series where I'll be going through every car to try and help you figure out what one really suits you and is the best for you. I'll be going through them and basing them on a few different topics, which will be the top speed, the acceleration, the off-roading, the handling, the seating, their customization and their availability. They'll get rated on a scale of a 1 through 5 and get a final score in the end. So let's get right into it, with this video being on the Eclaire, also known as the Bugatti Chiron. Personally, I think it's a very underrated car, but we're gonna see. Rate it on a scale of 1 through 5 as explained before. Let's get right into it, with the first topic being the top speed. Now the Eclaire's top speed is very decent. It's not as good as something like the Torpedo or the Javelin maybe, but it's definitely up there with being able to reach 287. It's a bit of a struggle getting up there, but it is able to reach it, so I think a 287 gives it a 4 out of 5. Now, its acceleration is not amazing, but it's also not terrible. It takes 1.83 seconds to reach 100 miles an hour, and it takes 3 seconds and 90 milliseconds to reach 150, which isn't awful, and I was very stuck on either giving it a 3.5 or a 4, but I wanted to give it a 4.5 for the top speed, and I gave it a 4, so I think for this one I'm gonna actually round it up and give it a 4 for the acceleration. Now I think its off-roading is definitely not terrible. I think it's far better than the Roadster, and I think it's very comparable to the off-roading of the Torpedo, which I gave a 4 in one of my other videos, so I think I'm also just gonna give it a 4 for the off-roading. Now, it's decently easy to handle. I wouldn't say it's as easy as the Roadster, but I think it's very close. And the Roadster got a 4.5 for its handling. I think the Eclaire is just a little bit below that, so even though I hate having to give it another 4 and getting very boring, I think it's appropriate to give it a 4 because that's what it deserves for its handling. The Eclaire, like most supercars in the game, has 2 seats, which is very basic, and to me 2 seats gives it a 3, so we're not going to spend any more time on that topic. The Eclaire has very decent customization. You can change it a lot. You can have 2 different body colors, you can have 2 different textures, you can change the spoiler, you can change the interior and much more. I think it's not the most customizable car in the game, but it's definitely up there, and I think I want to give it a 4.5 for that. The Eclaire has a price tag of only 600k, which is very achievable for most people. Obviously, it doesn't mean that you can get it as a beginner. You have to make some money first, but it's not limited. And well, I gave the Roadster a 5 out of 5 for availability, and that costs the same as this, so I'm also going to give this a 5 out of 5. Now, with all of these scores combined, the Eclaire gets a grand total of 28.5, which if we divide that by the 7 categories it was judged on, we come out to this number. But obviously we're not going to rate it that. I would want to round it up, but it's really not high enough to be able to round it up, so we're gonna have to give it a 4 out of 5 on the average. I hope you all enjoyed, and I'd love to see you again on the next video. Make sure that if you have any car suggestions, you leave them down in the comments.